We'll break it all down. We got plenty to get to. I got all my notes in front of me, but it has to start with Patrick Mahomes, which is just clearly on a different path than what we have ever seen before. And that's football, right? Like, I can say that with a straight face for football. You can make the case with basketball. You can make the case for baseball. Like, we're talking about 7 athletes have done what Patrick Mahomes has done so far in his career. I'm talking about 3 rings, 2 MVPs in his first 7 seasons, 6 AFC title games, 4 Super Bowls, 3 rings, 3 MVPs in the Super Bowl, 2 MVPs in the league.
And how old is he again?
28.
Yeah.
This dude is clearly on a path to being the best quarterback of all time. Now, there are I would not argue, as I won't argue with my co-host Jon Jansen, who will tell you he's the greatest quarterback he's ever seen. That's fine, all well and good. To me, I think there's got to be rules. Like I said to the guy in Vegas, if you don't abide by the line here, then we're going to have anarchy. And for me, and if you missed that one, a guy cut in line in front of me for coffee. And I just said, yo, dude.
That's how you're going to use that story?
Yes.
In this context?
Yes. And my point is, like, I got people telling me Andy
Fall
Reid.
in line.
I got
Reid's
people
the greatest.
and telling Andy Reid is better than Bill Belichick. That's false.
It's not.
That is false because Bill Belichick and Andy Reid have come up through the ranks at the same time, the salary cap era. So all those other coaches that have their Chuck Knowles and all those other great coaches, they drafted unbelievable. And that's why they were able to build a roster and stick around with the longevity that they had, the success that they had for those years. Andy Reid and Bill Belichick have had to deal with the salary cap. Whole different ballgame. Belichick has more rings. If you don't say that Belichick is better than Andy Reid, I'm sorry. It's just anarchy. He's got more rings. He's proved his worth. Andy Reid is fantastic. It's 1A, 1B. Dude is on he's on the path to taking over that as the greatest coach of all time. We understand. Same thing with Mahomes.
I think I can already make a case for Andy Reid being the greatest coach of all time.
That's fine. But as I said,
he's done,
the rings are everything.
That's great. But Bill Belichick had his Tom Brady, right away.
Yeah.
Andy Reid didn't have his Tom Brady until he got to his second stop, and like halfway through his second stop.
Belichick didn't have his Tom Brady right from the jump. Remember, he was a coach, previous stops.
I know, in Cleveland, and he got fired.
But he was successful. He was able to turn that program
fired.
around. Yeah, but again, there's more to that story. That was a disaster of a franchise. They didn't do anything.
And the Eagles were a good franchise? What Andy Reid has done with 2 separate franchises is unbelievable stuff. That's building the team from the ground up. And Kansas City wasn't in really that great shape when he took over in Kansas City. Of course, all jobs that you take on.
He got fired. Who was the previous coach that was there before got Andy Reid?
Oh, I completely forget. But
go ahead with your point.
What he's done with 2 separate teams, building from the ground up, finding a franchise quarterback, and being able to go to multiple championship games, 1-1 Super Bowl with the Eagles, learn some lessons. I know that. But still, how many teams have gone to 4 straight NFC championship games? Not many. And then he gets to a Super Bowl in one of those. It's a great run, completely changed around an entire franchise. Wow. That's what Andy Reid did to the Eagles. The franchise completely changed when he took over, and the Eagles have been so much better for it. And again, like, you can even just take that part of his career and you go, that's really good. It's not GOAT status, not all of that stuff, but it's very good. It's unbelievable. It's things that not many coaches have already done.
Yep.
Then he goes to the Chiefs, does it all over again, starting with Alex Smith as his quarterback, ends up drafting, developing. Great. He left San Francisco because it didn't work. So, it's a number 1 pick that nobody wanted at the time. And Andy Reid took him, made him a good quarterback, built the franchise all over again. It got Patrick Mahomes, and now is winning a bunch of Super Bowls. I mean, what this guy's done with 2 separate teams, no coach, I don't think, could ever do this. I truly don't. I truly don't think if Bill Belichick went to some other team, he could do it all over again. It's impossible to do that. There's luck along the way. Andy Reid getting Patrick Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes being as good as he is.
Correct.
That's crazy. Of course there's luck. But, I mean, Bill Belichick needed Tom Brady. But again, I don't know if Bill would have been able to do this twice. He did it twice.
Well, he's got 6 rings, and he's got 8 rings. So that's more than 3, and it's very easy.
Are you counting his assistant coach? Do we count Andy's? Did he have a ring with Green Bay?
He did.
Andy, do we count that one?
You know why?
You want to put that in there?
You know why I bring that up?
Why is
Because
that?
Kyle Shanahan. Because Shanahan, on the other hand, is a great, fantastic offensive mind. And I think he should get credit for taking the Atlanta Falcons as an offensive coordinator, albeit blowing a 28-3 score, a 28-3 lead in that Super Bowl. But he was a huge piece to that puzzle to get them there, right? I see people comparing Kyle Shanahan to Doc Rivers. I go, guys, like they're not even in the same stratosphere.
The comparison is the coach he faced in that game. That's the comparison.
Yeah. So look, there's so many talking points from last night. We're going to get into all of them, from the commercials to the halftime show, as all the shows do. I got my different spin. We're going to have Jon Jansen rank. I'll tell you what, one thing I took from last night's
movies are back. Movies are back.
Hollywood is back in a big way, man.
We got Twister as a summer blockbuster again.
Wasn't even the best one.
Let's go.
Wasn't even the best one.
I'll get to my list. I'm not going to say anything.
I'll tell you straight up for me.
Oh, what's one for you? Obviously I'm going to do my list later, but I want to know.
And I don't even know the name of it, but it's The Quiet Place.
No, that's not.
Yes.
It's a good one.
That's a great series, good one. Right?
It is, and there's
now 2. This would be 3.
There is actually a lot of room to make a movie based on that, because they never went through why everything happened or how all of it happened.
Correct.
So there is a story to be told,
and that's where this one comes, because you saw the city. So it's going
to turn it into a completely different movie instead of like the quiet thing that Krasinski had. Which, by the way, Krasinski's got the juice.
Did he write that?
He did not write A Quiet Place. He got the script and he directed it. He's writing, I think, his first time writing and directing.
What a talent he
is going to be If. I am very excited.
He was from The Office. Who is he? Not freaking.
Yeah, from The Office. That's where we got to start. The Office, and then he did some Tom Clancy thing or whatever. He did some type of
on Amazon.
On Amazon, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
But now he's turned himself into this director, and I think he's got the juice. So
and you know what? And his wife is Emily Blunt.
And his wife is Emily Blunt, who was also in a trailer. She's another trailer.
Yeah, she's really good. That was my favorite one. No, look, Hollywood is back. Jansen's gonna rank him. He's Johnny Cinema. Looking forward to hearing all that. But again, let's talk about the Super Bowl and from the standpoint of all the bad beats. I want to point this one out from the jump. This goes down in history. First of all, it's only the second Super Bowl ever to go to overtime, right? So automatically it raises the bar. But this is the first one with the new rules where everybody gets a touch. And most people knew that. Hand in the air. I'm sitting on my couch.
Nobody knew.
Was relaxing. And the way the 49ers were marching down that field, I was by myself. I didn't go out last night. Obviously, we drained a lot of juice. Being in Vegas for a week. So
that's one way to put it.
I'm sitting on my couch going, man, they are just absolutely going to score here. Wow, the 49ers are going to win a Super Bowl. And the next thing you know, 3rd down, 4th down, right? They get the big stop right there, right? 5-6 yard lane, whatever it was, Chris Jones in the face. And because he was open, I think it was Jennings in the corner. No, it wasn't Jennings' corner. It was another receiver for the 49ers. And I'm like, wow, they held him on. I can't believe this game is continuing. And I tweeted, I'm like, I am shocked. And next thing you know, everyone's like, no, dude, new rules. It's one thing for me to be on my couch and maybe not know, or maybe be needed to be reminded, because of course we've been doing this all playoff long, and I just had a little bit of a brain fart. No issues. I'm Sean Brace on the couch in Conshohocken. I'm not Kyle Shanahan. And John, I don't know where you stand. I don't think he knew. I think if they score that touchdown, the headset's coming off and he's expecting Gatorade. I'm telling you right now, from two things.
Wait, for the field goal?
For the touchdown.
Oh, for the touchdown.
Correct. I think if they score that touchdown, he's saying to himself, that's it. It's over. And there was an after the game interview on the field where he kind of was saying, I didn't want to get the ball back to Mahomes. And then you hear this from Kyle Shanahan, among other players on the team after the game.
From Armstead and more. Yep.
Say this.
You know what? I didn't even realize that the playoff rules were different in overtime. So I assumed you just want the ball because you score a touchdown and win. But I guess that's not the case. So I don't totally know the strategy there. No. No, we haven't talked about it. No.
Now, I don't have an issue. I do have an issue to a point that you have 2 weeks to prepare. So you should bring everybody.
You know about that rule. Like there's a rules committee and you vote on this stuff.
Well,
and
the rules were changed because of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
And you're playing
it was
them.
very well documented and we all talked about it. And Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are just not going to realize it or not remember it. I don't know. That's an odd thing to me.
It was eye-opening, to say the least. Regardless if he thought it was a touchdown or not, bottom line is it's a big talking point, big debate right now on what you do. And I'm not going to sit here and say that anybody needs to lose their job. It's that drastic. My point is, when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, where we have talked endlessly about what you have to do to beat this guy, and it's only one word, it's perfection. You have to be perfect. And when you have that opportunity to receive or kick, and you're saying to yourself, well, does it really matter? Because if they score, we score, and then it's sudden death. No, that's the wrong way to go about it. And that was his line of thinking. If you believe Kyle Shanahan, when he got to the podium, he said, look, the reason why we kicked is because if we match each other, then it's sudden death and we get the ball. That's fine and good. That's fine and good. But bottom line is that's way down the road, because the deciding factor is now you are giving the advantage to Patrick Mahomes 2 parts. One, he gets 4 downs. He gets 4 downs to operate. The offense is going to work differently. If it's 3rd down and 6, you're in 4 down territory. You're going to call different plays. You were able to stop them in the first half. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you can stop them on a 3rd and 5. You get a hand up, knock it down. They didn't do it in the second half. But what a mistake it was by Shannon. I'm not saying he needs to be fired. He's clearly going to learn from this, and a lot of similarities to Andy Reid.
It's so similar to Reid.
Right?
Come on, we heard Donovan, your starting quarterback didn't know overtime rules. Like that's on coach.
On the road in Cincinnati on a Sunday.
But. I know, but that's still on coach. Like coach didn't hey, these are the overtime rules. These are, what, because I think Andy Reid had to learn, practice every situation. Every situation that's coming up.
Yes.
Andy Reid took time, and the Chiefs took time to know how do we gain an advantage in overtime in certain situations, and he knew defer. And the one thing I didn't know is the clock. Even if the clock runs out, the game still goes on.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
the game still goes on because they get another chance. They basically get a chance.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what the time is. They get a chance on that possession to end up scoring in what way, and to tie the game or to win the game.
Yes.
So that's it. So I don't know how Kyle Shanahan can't try and look at you. Need, like you just said, you need every advantage against Mahomes.
Yes.
You need everything.
You have to be perfect.
Because because Mahomes in any situation is going to be better than you. So you have to figure out the advantages when you can. You have to play by the numbers. Andy Reid doesn't. And Andy Reid knows that. And I'm one that doesn't like, some of Andy Reid's 4th down decisions. I don't like some of Andy Reid's obviously play calling at times, but man, I couldn't help but step back and figure out that he has a great feel for what his team needs.
Absolutely.
And what his team needs in certain situations, going for that field goal, even if it was 57 yards. In his mind, look, it's Harrison Butker. He's going to make this. We're going to get our defense in the good field position instead of, potentially not getting this 4th down. We get the points, and then we try and almost balk. We kick the can down the road, we get the points, and we let 49ers make the mistake. And they did. But it's a great understanding of your team and playing to your advantages, knowing all of these situations, and Kyle Shanahan doesn't. And that's what Andy Reid struggled with in the past. Andy Reid had no idea in the moment how to manage a game. And I think he's gotten so much better than that. Is his clock management the best? Probably not. Is he the best with timeouts? Probably not. But feel for the game, Andy Reid has, and Kyle Shanahan's learning that. I mean, feel for the game is, you're right. Be aggressive.
Yeah.
Get, not just but defer and try and let Patrick Mahomes score, and then what you're doing after that, and you can be aggressive, and you can be the one to take it to Kansas City. So yeah, it's those little advantages over and over again that the Chiefs are just so good at. And, when you give those opportunities to Patrick Mahomes, he's going to burn you every single time.
I thought it was a fantastic Super Bowl, sluggish start, a bunch of turnovers, which was very
Usher got everyone going. He got the game going. He got the crowd hyped up again. Usher got it going.
The 2 for each team, I believe, in the first half, it was just so bad. The punt return, that was for me. We'll get into a little bit more of that. That's the turning point. But we're talking 7 combined field goals, Super Bowl record, 5 ties, lead changes, all in the second half.
I felt like there was a fumble at least every drive.
Most in Super Bowl history. Again, for not of a lack of more topics to hit on, but the biggest thing is Patrick Mahomes. And the fact that he went for 333 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns passing, and 66
led the team in rushing.
yards rushing. Led the team in rushing. This dude is next level. And that is something that, of course, Tom Brady did not have with his legs. So when you have a 4th and 1, which the game is clearly on the line from the 30, whatever it was, and he gets the call for a naked bootleg, essentially with one option to Kelsey, which is his right-hand man. He says, I'm keeping, and he busts it for a big gain. Like you're not getting that from any other quarterback in that moment. Some people be rattled. Brock Purdy had some opportunities in that second half, did not come through, which I know there's a big talking point today. I put that out on social media as a poll. Where do you rank him? What do you say? Fantastic. A guy that you can't win the big game with, or an okay game. I think he played really well. He surprised me.
Well. He played well.
Yeah, he didn't throw an interception. I thought for sure he was going to.
I thought for sure he was going to throw an interception.
He had the one that was up for grabs that probably should have. And in the one in overtime, which was a really tight window, did hit the wide receiver in his hands. I thought Purdy played really well, enough to win the football game. But the difference is Patrick Mahomes. And that's all you can say. All right, for the people out there, I want to ask you about this one, because what was the turning point in the game? The turning point in the game is always interesting to get that reaction from everybody. So go ahead, at Fox PHL Gambler, hit us up on socials. We're streaming everywhere. The turning point in the game was what? What do you say to that?
Oh, the easy one's the fumble on the punt.
Yeah.
Because once that happens, Chiefs finally got a touchdown right after that first play, and the offense is rolling from there. All you needed to do was get the offense rolling, and that was the one that felt like it kind of opened things up. They got one play, scored right away after that, after settling for a field goal. And again, that's why people didn't want him to, because, you got to get your offense going, all of that. Well, they got an opportunity again. They ended up capitalizing on it. And after that, there are other plays that happened that you could consider a turning point. The block field goal or block extra point, that's a big one, because then Kansas City was able to tie the game. Everything like that, I get it. But that really changed for Kansas City offensively as soon as they recovered that fumble on the punt return and scored right away. That was it. That's the moment to me when everything changed. Kansas City's offense got better. Mahomes got better. Kansas City started playing better, and it got a lot tougher because San Francisco also upped their game, because they kind of knew, now we're in a fight. But it was really San Francisco dominating almost the entire way.
That defense came to play.
They were awesome. They dominated the entire way until that moment, and things really opened up from there. And that's all Kansas City needed, was things to open up for them just a little bit.
I agree. The fumble on the punt return off the leg for the 49ers, and then the return man tried to scoop it a little bit on him. I'm not going to say it's easy to just fall on that, but then again, it led to, of course, this. And,
it's not easy because that ball was slippery. For some reason.
it was gone. It was all over the place. And then it led to this touchdown.
Chiefs have never led in this game. They fumbled at the 8, or they could have led. Mahomes firing for the end zone, wide open, caught, touchdown, Kansas City. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 16 yards on a seam up the numbers, and Kansas City has its first lead of Super Bowl 58.
Yeah, that was it. And it's not to say that was all she wrote, because clearly there was a hell of a lot more football to be played after that.
No, but that was the kickstart. That was the one Kansas City needed to just get the spark and kickstarted.
And I'm sitting there at that point in time. My wife was still up, and I go, geez, in a Super Bowl, like, this is how you're going to lose this game. You can't afford those mistakes against a guy like Patrick Mahomes. He's a different breed. You must be perfect. All right, we got plenty to talk